Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to do a little bit of channel work. I'm going to define a term that I regularly use, and that term is pattern recognition. And I want to give you the Scott Garibay definition of pattern recognition. And the reason why I'm going to do this is I'll talk about this in videos, and I'll just say pattern recognition. I won't have to repeat every single time what that is. I could just point to this video. All right, so let's talk about pattern recognition. So the first time I came across the term pattern recognition was as a novel title for a William Gibson novel. Now, William Gibson wrote cyberpunk, and he's very famous for he invented cyberpunk. He invented the entire genre, and it turned out to be an incredibly valuable genre, and it's truly strange. So cyberpunk is this 80s version of what the 2020s would look like. Cyberpunk is a 1980s vision of what 2020 science fiction, of what our world would look like. Cyberpunk is a 1980s vision of what the 2020s would look like. It was completely wrong, right? None of us are wearing trench coats and mirror shades, right? But it was beautiful. It was stunningly beautiful. This vision was, and it was also an idea of, hey, let's talk about near future. Let's not talk about, a future hundreds of years in the future. Let's talk about a future 5 years in the future, or 25 years in the future, or 40, and it's intimate. And cyberpunk is an absolutely stunningly beautiful genre. Okay. So let me explain pattern recognition. So we're in a post-data world, and that's why we're talking about this right now. And in that, we got lots of data, but what's it matter, right? We get data from scientists, we get data from institutions, we get data from academies, we get data from all kinds of different institutions, but none of it seems to matter anymore. Why? Nobody trusts anybody. That's the issue. There's no trust, right? So I don't really care how you source your number. I don't care what numbers you have. I don't care what your numbers are. I don't trust your source. I don't trust your funding. I don't trust you, right? And it's all over. Like, it's everywhere, right? Like, it's just happened overnight, right? So how can we tell anything, right? So how can we get to the answer, right? So there's a way to do it, and it's called pattern recognition. All right, so there was a show on Netflix. It was called Sense8, and I think it had 2 seasons, right? And it had a very passionate following, right? It had a group of people who absolutely loved the show. Were like, hey, give me more of that thing. I want season 3. Let's go. So there was all this debate and all this talk on Reddit and on every, and on Facebook and on Twitter. When are we going to get season 3 of Sense8, right? And so all this is happening, right? And then finally, it reaches a point where this grip, just a grip. The person who carries around the keys and moves racks and stuff, almost like a roadie for a movie, for a television show. This grip from Canada was like, Sense8 is canceled. And they're like, Sense8 isn't canceled. Netflix didn't announce that Sense8 is canceled, right? And he goes, it's canceled. And the reason why is they struck the set today. They tore down all the sets and packed it up, and packed all the structures up in semis and shipped it back to the United States of America. It's done. You don't do this if the show isn't canceled. For 3 weeks, Netflix said nothing, and the controversy raged on Reddit and on Facebook and on Twitter, but it was already done. The grip was right? And 3 weeks later, Netflix like, yep, we canceled it, right? And a few people in the world were like, I don't need to hear you. I already knew from the grip that it was canceled, right? It was a pattern recognition, right? People in the know. And the reality is, we live in a world where it's extremely difficult to hide secrets, right? And hey, I long for the worlds of data. I long for the world of data when data mattered too. But we're no longer there. But that doesn't mean we can't get the answer. We can get the answer if we watch for pattern recognition. So thank you for letting me define this. This is going to be really helpful for me. I'm not going to have to repeat myself in a bunch of videos. Thanks for your patience with this video. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on how we find answers today. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.